Guys, what is up? What is going on out there today? Yeah, it's Brent Abel here, webtennis.com, with another episode of January 2025 Daily Fundy, as in fundamentals. And the message that we are underscoring every one of these 31 episodes this month is the fact that mastering the fundamentals, the fundies of the game, that's the advanced stuff. There's nothing else past that. Once you really spend some time with the fundamentals and get really good, really solid with them, you know what happens? You become a really consistent shot maker. You choose much better shot choices and much better court positioning. And that's the advanced stuff right there. So, look, today's message is we're going to label choking as something completely different. And I know that today is not January 15th. However, I was at a tournament last week, Naples, Florida, and two of the matches that I played there. Going to talk about those today in regards to today's title. So this is not in total order. I'm hoping to catch up here real quick and get up to the actual date. But yeah, there you have it. So look, before we get into today's episode of the Daily Fundy, look, playing tight, and we're going to talk about that today. The reality is the confidence code for all this stuff, for what we're going to relabel as choking, for just playing tight or nervous or anxious, all that mental toughness stuff gets built first off of the tennis court. And I've got a 5 mini mindset skills training course that if you've not yet checked it out, the end of today's episode, be sure to do so. Be sure to do that. There's a link down below in the description area that will take you to that course where you can get signed up. So, look, guys, let's label choking as something different. So, typically, what happens is we get out to a big lead, or we get right to the end of the set, or to the end of a match, and it's really under our control, and really choking is nothing more then just not staying focused on what your self messaging has been throughout the whole set or throughout the whole match as you get to that point where you get a real opportunity to close this thing out again as a set or a match. So choking to me is just what are we saying differently at those moments than we have been throughout the set or the match, and and that's where we get ahead of ourselves, right? It's really future thinking. We're just thinking about, God dang it, I am so close to closing out this set. God dang it, I'm so close to closing out the match, and and it's easy to get undisciplined at that point as to what our self-talk is, to what our self-messaging is. And once you do that, man, it's you're kind of leaving it up to just pure chance. And I think one thing you got to realize is that when you've got a good lead or you're closing something else, that other guy over there um, has got, you know, I mean, they might have the pressure, but they also start to loosen up. They go, well, this hasn't been working, so they try something different. And the real question that you've got to answer is who's doing what to whom. Are they making a slight adjustment at that point that maybe you're not picking up? And certainly for me at this tournament, Naples, Florida, hadn't played a tournament about a year and a half. So even more so, it was imperative that I'd spent as much time as possible practicing my between points system, my between points routine, not only off the court but also on the court leading up to that tournament. And and certainly when you get to that point, as I did in two of these matches, where I coughed up some pretty sizable leads, I'll be the first to admit that I wasn't disciplined enough at those moments to continue to just drill down on that between points, that four parts between point system I've got. And things can quickly get away from you. And so, look, here's the situation. I played a guy who had played before in the round of 16. Really tough player. Guy's won, some national titles, some gold balls and singles. And I played him once in the hard courts and sort of had my way with him way back then, probably 25 years ago. And then I played him maybe 15 years ago on the clay, and he beat me on the clay. Well, this time was the clay, and in Naples, Florida, and I jumped out to a 4-0 lead in the first. And really at that point, I just, and sometimes I maybe you as well, not aware that that I'm not staying as disciplined to that between points routine as I should. And the next thing I know is it's 4-all. I've lost 4 games in a row. We finally get into the tiebreaker, the first set, and I lose it, right? And so I would say 3 years ago, not that long ago, I probably would have gotten good and pissed off and just, just really taken myself down into the drain in terms of just really, really negative thinking. And I recall walking off the court, going to refill my water bottle after after losing that set, coughing up a 4-0 lead, losing it in the tiebreaker. And one of your fellow web tennis subscribers was there, kind of smiling at me. And I just looked at him and I said, well, it looks like today is going to be a great fitness opportunity. And so that was my mindset going into the second set was, let's just turn this into a fitness opportunity today. Let's get back to being disciplined about the BPR, the between points routine, but let's figure out another way to think about what you want to do here. And look, it's never a guarantee, right? I mean, I could think, oh, this is going to be a great fitness opportunity, beautiful day here in Naples, Florida. I get to be here, I get to work out, whatever. Sure, there's always that thought in the back of your mind. Okay, yeah, nice going, Brent. What is that? Sales 101, so that you don't get whatever. But that mindset for me to starting off the second set, it just kind of settled me down and it got me away from being disappointed about losing the first set because look, we're going to lose first sets and still win the match lots of times if, and I, capital I, capital F, if we have the right mindset when we start that when we start that next set. And so and then I ended up just winning the second and third set 6-2, 6-2, and only because I didn't get all hacked off. We could have called it choking, but it was just a lack of discipline of self-messaging between points. That's all it was. I mean, yeah, we could get tight, but if you have the same, I mean, if you got the discipline for that self-messaging that works, and what works for me is that 4 parts between points routine is you give yourself the best chance. Never a guarantee, but you give yourself the best chance to pull out the match. The next one was a couple matches later into the semifinals and playing my doubles partner. And look, this guy's really good. I'm not saying the guy before wasn't good. He was, but this guy's really good. And I knew I had my hands full right from the beginning of the match. And he wins the first set 6-4. And so, again, I didn't lose my cool on that, and I just said, okay, let's maybe keep probing. Let's find out. Maybe there's a different little shot pattern that will work. I've been sort of working over the backhand, kind of the middle third of the court towards the backhand, and his is the real deal, right? So I decided, well, let's just try the middle third of the court to the forehand. And sure enough, I uh, I started having some success with that. And look, here we go. I jumped out to a 5-1 lead in the second set. And same thing as a couple matches before, I started to lose that discipline of what am I going to tell myself between points? And it should be nothing different, right? You shouldn't be thinking, okay, well, we got this in the bag now. Let's start looking at what we're going to do in the third set, or maybe he's going to be tired or whatever. um, and getting away from the hope strategy. Hey man, just give me the another game here because I'm up 5-1, right? I mean, I deserve this set, right? No, he made an adjustment, slight adjustment with his court positioning as I was playing his forehand. The next thing I know is yeah, I mean, we get into the tiebreaker, right? I'm not going to call it choking because it's really just a lack of discipline of the messaging that you give yourself at that point when you're ahead. And for me, like I'm going to give myself a little bit of a break, not having played a tournament for a year and a half. Yeah, maybe just not quite ready yet to be able to close out those matches against the top guys. And so next thing you know, we're in the tiebreaker, and he closes out the tiebreaker, and yet I'm still okay. I'm not upset. I'm going, you know what? you know what, this was good. You know, you learned something today. Definitely learned that the self-messaging is crucial. And you know, choking to me is like you're just, like I said before, you're kind of leaving it out there to let something happen at some point, rather than just drilling down on that between points time, which is, look, I mean, let's be real here. You know, the points themselves in the matches, 20-25% of the time you're on the court, and that's it. I mean, a huge majority, 75 to 80% of the time we're on the court, is spent between times and on side changes. And if you don't really manage that time great, you know, stuff can happen. So let's label choking as something different. Let's just say that there are times in the match when we all start getting a little undisciplined with our thinking between points. You know, lots of coaches will say, well, you know, the way you don't choke is you just keep doing the same thing that you've been doing. And too often what that means is just tactical. And yet between points, man, our minds can take us to some bizarre places if we don't control that thinking. And so, yeah, I do agree that what's gotten you there to the lead, shot choice wise, pattern wise, whatever it is, that is important for sure. And part of the between points time is to tell yourself, proactively tell yourself, let's just trust the pattern. Keep trusting the pattern. Even if the guy knows what you're going to do, let's just keep trusting the pattern. So, guys, look, hope this has been helpful today. Let me know down in the comments, any comments, questions, remarks, feedback. Love to read your stuff and respond. And yeah, as I mentioned at the very top, look, I've got a course, 5 mini mindset skills that will help you overcome what I've just been describing. Normally $197, but this month I've got it on a special for just 77 bucks. Includes all the different bonuses that are offered also inside the course. That link is down below in the description area. You can click it and get started right away. All right, guys, that is it for me. Look, great hanging out with you as always. And it's time. It's that time. We got to get out there. We got to help someone else have a spectacular day. Guys, I'll see you again in the next episode.